in this video I'm going to show you how to arm knit a blanket, and I showed you in my past videos how to do a scarf, an infinity scarf. So today I'm going to show you how to arm knit a blanket, and you should be able to have it done within an hour or less, which is really quick for knitting a blanket. Usually it takes a lot longer than that. The yarn that I'm using on my blanket, I'm using 3 balls or skeins of yarn, and they're all, let's see, this is one that I'm using. It's Bernat Roving yarn, and it is a bulky number 5 yarn. The other type of yarn that I'm using is Lion brand yarn, and it's called Silky Twist, and this is actually a super bulky yarn, size 6 yarn. When you're arm knitting something, if you want it to look nice and full and not have a lot of holes in it, then you're going to want to stick to something that's bulky or super bulky. Those are just what works best. So that's what I'm using for my blanket. I started out with 2 of these and 1 of these. So what I do is I pull a strand and from each ball, and I just knit with all 3 strands at one time. And here's a picture of what that will look like. Now this is basically the same concept as arm knitting a scarf. It's just you're adding on more stitches on your arms, which makes it wider. Okay, so you can see down here I have my 3 skeins of yarn that I'm using. 3 skeins at one time, and you just pull a strand from each skein, and you knit with them just like it's one strand of yarn. Okay, so to arm knit a blanket, you're going to use a long tail cast on. So you're going to need a long tail. So I'm going to pull out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to say about 5 feet. And what you're going to want to do next is to make your slip knot. So you can make your slip knot. If you don't know how to make one of those, you can find a video on YouTube on how to make a slip knot. And then we're going to move it all the way up here on our arm. And don't make it too snug. So then you're going to cast on 32 stitches, which is what I used for my blanket. Obviously, if you want it to be wider, you cast on more stitches. And so let's go ahead and cast on. Alright, so to cast on, what you're going to do is you're going to put the working yarn around your thumb and hold it with these 2 fingers here. And then your tail you're going to wrap in between your pointer finger and your index. Your index finger and your middle finger. So to cast on, you are going to take your right hand and put it right under there, through there, and then you're going to take your hand and you're going to go under this one. So you're going to go under, and then you're going to go through this loop here. So you're going to go under and through there, and then just pull on the working yarn to pull on the working yarn to tighten that up a little bit. So let's do that again. You're going to go under there, under this one, and through there. Move it up your arm. Try to move it up as far as you can because we're going to be casting on 32 stitches, which is quite a bit. Alright, so next one. Hold it like this. Make sure you have the right amount of strands in each thing. So you're going to hold it like that. Go under there, and through there. Do that again. Under, under, and through. And move it up your arm. Under, under, and through. Under, under, and through. And you're going to do that 32 times. And your slip knot counts as your first stitch. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so obviously I didn't make the tail long enough. We have about 13 stitches here. So you're probably going to want to do about a 10-foot tail, and just to be safe. So when you're starting out, make the tail about 10 feet long, and then try casting on your 32 stitches. Once you have your 32 stitches all casted on, you're going to go ahead and knit 23 rows, which is what I did for my blanket. If you want it to be longer, then you can obviously knit more rows, but 23 rows made it pretty long blanket. To show you how to arm knit, you're going to hold on to your working yarn with your right hand. You're going to take that first stitch, pull it over your hand, and now you're going to have this loop here. So you're going to turn that and put it onto your left arm, and then you're going to kind of pull on. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up. Make sure when you're knitting a blanket you move it as far up as you can on your arm. So let's take the next one. Make sure you have all 3 strands. So we're going to take the next stitch, pull it over our hand. Now you have this loop. So you're going to turn it and put it onto your left hand. Tighten that up. Pull your next stitch over your hand. Now you have this loop. You're going to want to turn it that way and put your hand through. Tighten it. Next stitch, pull it over your hand. Turn your yarn towards your body and put your arm through. Tighten it. And just keep doing the rest of your stitches just like that. I don't have 32 stitches on my hand. I only have about 9 or 10, just to save time for the video. But for the blanket, you should cast on at least 32 stitches. There we have one row of about 9 or 10 stitches. So to switch arms again, what you're going to do is you're going to hold the working yarn with your left hand this time, and you're going to slip the first stitch over your left hand. So then you have that loop. You're going to turn the working yarn towards your body and put your hand in that way. And then you're going to tighten that up a little bit. Try to move it up as far as you can because we're going to have a lot of stitches on our arm. Again, you're going to hold the working yarn in your left hand. You're going to pull that next stitch over, turn it, and put your hand in. And do that again. And don't forget to tighten it after every stitch is moved over. Work with it that way. Alright, so obviously it's going to be much wider, but this is what we have so far. And as you can see with the 3 strands of super bulky yarn, it's pretty full. There's not too many holes in there. So that's what we have with 2 rows. And you're going to do that 23 times. So you would do it 21 more times, and then you would go ahead and bind off. And instead of knitting a whole blanket in this video, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to knit 1 more row, and then I'm going to show you how to bind off. Hey, big boy. This is Duke. Hey, sweetie. Thank you. You go lay down. Guess he wants to be in the video today. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to bind off, which will end your blanket. Okay, so you're going to hold the working yarn in that hand. You're going to take your first stitch and knit it just like you would do when you are knitting your blanket. Okay, and then you're going to knit 1 more stitch onto your other arm and tighten it up. Now when you bind off, when you bind off, you don't want to do it too tight, because then you're going to have one, skinny end, and then you're going to have a wide end where you had cast it on. So don't do it too tight. So you're going to knit 2 stitches, and then you're going to take that first stitch and you're going to pull it right over the second one and off of your hand. Now tighten it up just a little bit. And then we're going to do it again. Hold your working yarn in your left hand. Pull that next stitch over. Put it on your right hand just like you're knitting it. Only tighten it a little bit. And then pull that first stitch over that second one there and off of your hand. Tighten it up just a tiny bit. Next stitch. Knit it and then pull that first one right over and off your hand. Next one. Pull that first stitch, pull that next one right over. Next one, knit it, tighten it up, and then pull that first one right over and off your hand. And knit the next one. And then pull that first strand right over the second one and off of your hand. Next one. Alright, and now you're down to your last stitch. So what you want to do to end your blanket is go ahead and grab that working yarn, pull that last one over, tighten that up a little bit. Now you have this long loop here, and you have your working yarn over here. So what I like to do is I like to do that again and grab my working yarn, pull it through there, and tighten that right up. And then I would cut the working yarn and then just cut it, and then you pull it out, and then you would have a knot at the end. So pretty much what we have here is like a mini scarf, but if you were to keep going for 23 rows, and you would have cast it on 32 stitches. This would be much wider and much longer. And let me show you the finished product here. Alright, so this is the finished product. I have a pretty large blanket here. It's folded right now. This is the blanket. I'm not going to undo all of it, but this is what we have. And so on this blanket, I haven't woven in the end yet. But what you would do is you're going to have, when you finish binding off, you're going to have a tail left hanging, one on each end of the one on each end of the blanket, I'm sorry. So you're going to take that, and you can use a crochet hook or you can use a safety pin, and you're just going to pull it through. Alright guys, so my blanket is all done. I hope you were able to learn how to arm the blanket from this video. So altogether I bought 6 skeins of yarn, 4 of the Silky twist, and 2 skeins of the Roving, the Bernat Roving yarn. So I didn't use all of the yarn. I used about 3/4 of the Bernat Roving yarn, and I used about 2/3 of the of each skein of the Silky twisted yarn. And but I think that's it for now. I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. If you have any requests, go ahead and leave them below, or leave them on my blog or on my Facebook page.